We haven't seen development like that in 30 years.
Yeah, and I wanted to tell you're right, 100%. There's at least 6 or 7 towers going up right now that are all rental only.
Yeah.
And you want to know why? Because I bet you they couldn't sell them as condos and make a profit.
What's crazy to me is all of the macroeconomic predictors out there. And I remember seeing so many things saying like, oh my God, the spring of 2023, would you just wait? The summer of 2023, because the spring of 23 didn't happen. Now you just wait for the fall. And there's like not really any kind of sediment about that happening. Like, where are you going to keep on kicking this can down? Like how many
predictors?
Yeah. Like listen, if you keep on pushing that, like, listen, you know what? We're predictors of interest rates coming down and the real estate market on the increase again, on the incline again. We're predictors of that. Like, it's gonna fucking happen again.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna happen, but we're not telling you when.
Yeah.
Because we don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Man, it's so crazy. All these fucking guys, and like, think about this for a second. If you haven't made a move in the last couple years, I don't give a fuck if the market's tanked 25%. You are still ahead. Like, I am so ahead on so many properties, even with a fucking 20% tank. You'd have to tank that shit 100% for me to lose. Like, dude, I don't even know. I purchased. I have a couple houses that I purchased, like, I don't even know, like right before COVID, when everything was like totally fine, right? For, I don't know, $300,000. Those fucking things are worth almost $1 million now.
Yeah.
And so you think about it. You cut housing prices by what? 50%? I'm still fucking ahead. Quite a bit. Mm-hmm. I'm still ahead 100%. You tank it 50%.
Yeah, it would take like a cataclysmic event to get you behind.
And I don't even give a fuck.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, go back to my purchase price. I still made money for the cash flow. Like, whatever. Yeah, I still paid down my principal. Yeah. Like, I'm still pretty good. That was my whole... Dude, I did that for fucking 5 years of my first 5 years of real estate investing. I didn't make a fucking thing on appreciation.
Yeah.
I'm not even used to this.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even build my portfolio based on this concept of appreciation.
And nobody
exactly.
should. Nobody should.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't really, like, everybody, remember that one fucking guy on Twitter? Oh, like, I'm going to fucking buy all your shit. You can't, though, because I have too much fucking equity. Yeah. You can't. Like, not only that, but the banks make it so that I can't even leverage it. So I can't even do it if I wanted to. So
and also, the banks have extended amortizations if you want. Because they don't want the house.
Get the fuck out of here.
They don't want a housing crash. They've extended amortizations to help people make their payments.
Yeah, go ahead. Just keep waiting.
Unless you bought literally probably in the 6 to 9 months leading up to the peak of March 2022. Unless you bought in that time frame, you're probably about even.
March 2022. Okay.
Yeah. Like, unless you bought in that 9 months leading up, right? So that peak run. If you bought any time prior to that, you're probably even. If you bought like in the 1 to 2 years prior to the peak, you're probably significantly ahead. And like you said.
Yeah, and one of the things that people need to understand as well is that over these periods of time, affordability has dropped off the fucking face of the earth. So, yes, there might be a short-term period of pain, but the rents, how much they have increased is fucking crazy.
And here's why. Because wages are up.
Exactly. So, yeah, when you have more buying power, it just is what it is.
Hold on. There's actually a few reasons. I want people to understand this. Wages are up. Mm-hmm. That's huge. People can't afford to buy. Mm-hmm. Affordability is so bad right now that you look at what's available for $250. If you're only approved for $250, you're like, well, I'm going to go rent for $3,000 a month then.
Yeah.
I make good money. I can't afford to buy that. I'm not buying this piece of crap. The best option for me is rent. I've seen that so many times now. And what else? Yeah, I mean that's I guess that's the gist of it.
the two major ones.
There's others, but whatever. I'm not thinking right now that.
It's
the rents and your base price stays the same. I love that quote that you said.
I would rather buy in at a lower price and a higher interest rate than buy in at a higher house price than a lower interest rate.
Yeah.
Because you term out of the mortgage.
100%.
That's it.
And we believe that the long-term fundamentals of supply and demand, the underlying fundamental of all markets, is very solid for the areas that we invest in, whether it's Windsor or wherever other market that we're looking in. We're buying off of underlying fundamentals.
Yeah.
Not appreciation,
Yeah.
cash flow.
That's exactly that's exactly how I started. Like you got to think like, dude, Windsor from like 2007, 2008
Dead
to 2012, like you realize what I had to do to even like get any kind of equity out of a property. I had to fucking remodel the thing. Like I'm not even joking. Like that's the only thing that you could do. There was no movement. I remember for the first 5 years, half a decade, like maybe even a decade, maybe not a decade. That might be a little bit aggressive, but I remember for sure 5 years, there was no movement in the market here. Fucking zero.
You had a declining population. Everybody was leaving to go out west or make money elsewhere. You had the automotive crash. It boils down to fundamentals.
Yeah.
You had more supply than there was demand.
Yeah.
There were more houses on the market, whether for sale or for rent, than there were people that needed to buy or rent a house. What do you think's happened since then? It's the exact opposite.
Yeah. Actually, like night and day. Like I can't actually believe we're here. And man,
we've been watching this happen. It's now reared its ugly head so that everybody can see it. We've been watching this happen for 5 years. Most people that are paying attention have. It's obvious.
It's actually crazy because I was always so convinced that Windsor would there'd be something happening in Windsor. It had all of the fundamentals to pop off like this. It just never did for the longest time. But I was like, fuck it.
I don't even think
I'm gonna try my luck in the real estate market because people need to live somewhere.
So
that was
true.
like my mindset back then. It's like
Simple.
People need to live somewhere. How much cheaper could it get?
What's interesting is that Windsor didn't actually do the right things, in my opinion.
No.
They just happened to fall in the perfect position of being a border city and having GTA and other areas of the country get so expensive and then mass immigration that people had nowhere else to go.
And it started hitting the headlines and everything.
Yeah, so sometimes what happens is the businesses come and that attracts the people.
Yeah.
That's
not what happened.
Was the reverse. The people started coming here because it was affordable.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we can do this investment. Okay, now we need new this. Now we need new infrastructure.
And that whole investment thing in Windsor is like recent. That's not, dude. Like
because the population
exactly.
Yeah.
And, even the amount of condo buildings and apartment buildings that have been going up. Fuck, we haven't seen development like that in 30 years.
Yeah, and I wanted to. You're right, 100%. There's at least 6 or 7 towers going up right now that are all rental only.
Yeah.
And you want to know why? Because I bet you they couldn't sell them as condos and make a profit.
100%.
So the smart thing to do for these developers, pivot and make them rentals. Guess what? That's probably...
Are they building them as condos and then going to rent
probably,
them 100%?
I don't know.
That would be the smart move in my opinion.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're doing. But it doesn't make sense to sell them now.
No.
But guess what? You now have 500 less units on the market for sale.
Yeah.
Now that's more people like, well, I would have bought one of those condos. Now it creates more renters, right? So that's contributing to the lack of supply that we keep talking about. Every fundamental that the Liberal government has created, they've created the perfect storm for lack of affordability. And you're either positioned to profit off of it or positioned to be screwed by it. Most people are positioned to be screwed by it, but they're still voting for it because they're the good guys.
Yeah.
It's so messed up, man.
It is.
But we'll keep. I'm going to keep preaching from the.
It's the best way. It's the best way.